Alright, we're going to try this again and make sure that we get everything right. You don't know about the first two efforts, and you don't need to. Coming up, we're going to evaluate your persuasive speeches, talk a little bit about what you need to do, and find out if anyone, even though you send me a message that says you watch this from start to finish, actually pays any attention whatsoever to anything I say. So, let me get started with the things you need to know that could determine whether or not you actually pass this class. We have left in this class 30 points left on the discussion board, 50 points left in the special occasion speech, and 20 points left on an exam. That's a full letter grade. Some of you really need that. You need all of those points in order to pass this class. I am going to include with this video in Blackboard an Excel spreadsheet showing your latest grades in this class. It'll be sorted by your fantasy name. It'll show you how you're doing in relation to everybody else in the class. Please look carefully at that spreadsheet because I'm calling one up here on the computer. When you look in the section that's labeled speeches, speech 1, 2, 3, public speaker, speech 4, and speech 5, if you see a 0 in any of those slots, you've already failed the class. Now, if you care, you can call me in my office and we can talk about what you might be able to do about that. Some of you have as high as 3 or 4 zeros. You're still doing discussion boards in some cases, and I don't know what you presume is going to happen, but you will not pass this class. It says so in the syllabus. It has said that since day one, and apparently people don't pay attention to that. And I know you don't pay any attention to it because since day one I have told you that the only way you are to submit any paper in this class is from your Ivy Tech email address to my Ivy Tech email address. Every single one of you that submitted a speaker critique submitted it in Blackboard. Contrary to what I have said since day one, contrary to what the syllabus says. I know it said that you could submit it in that spot, but that's not what I said. So you've got to learn to pay attention to what your teachers say in order to do well. So let's move on into the persuasive speeches, because for a final speech, many of you showed absolutely no improvement whatsoever, and in some cases you took steps backwards. We'll start with Haley. Haley, don't start talking while you're still moving into the picture. Get set first, then look at the camera, then start. All right, you have the wrong shot. You have people's heads in the shot who are sitting in front of you. You have something about who is our society? That's yours. What is culture? Watch your left hand. Put it where you want it, and then you make it very hard to pick out all of your words. We've talked about this before. I realize English is a second language, but we've got to be able to understand the words that you're saying. It's very hard to pick out all of your words. You said something about being less happy. Less happy than what? Where did you get the information on your slides? That's a plagiarism issue. And slow down, slow down, slow down. The question is whether or not your visual aids were appropriate to the speech, and a couple of other problems with your main points being fully supported and your sources being cited clearly. All right, that's Haley. Next up is, let me get the fantasy name here. The fantasy name is Apollo. Apollo. You have 2 outlines, but only one is labeled. Stand still when you speak. Don't be dodging and dancing back and forth. Your last slide said that marijuana is as bad as it seems to be portrayed. It's very confusing to try to figure out what some of your visuals meant. You're not speaking to me, and I'm the camera. You bounce back and forth on facts. You need to be linear. You need to make progress from point to point to point. You can't be here, then there, then there, then over there, and over there. You've got to be linear. You make your points and build on them. You said a lot of words. You repeated yourself a lot, but you didn't tie things together. You've got to tie everything together. You're quoting 1944. Are you serious? You're quoting something from 1944? Take a look at a calendar. And when you're doing a persuasive speech, you probably don't want to include facts from 1944 to support your side of the argument. All right, next up is cowgirl, and you need to work on something to get the flow of your speech to work. This clearly was another pharmacy-related speech. I don't know how many times I've mentioned in these reviews you can only use a topic one time, and I even said you can't use anything even related in the most distant way to anything dealing with anything related to drugs or anything close to that. You're making some seriously unsupported charges, and you're even naming names, which makes it even worse. Do you have permission of your company to make the disclosures that you're making? And you're not citing sources in every case, and you have no visuals. There are just simply too many problems with this speech. I saw no visual aids. Your speech was short in terms of the time limit. Your sources were not cited clearly, and some other points that are involved in that. All right, next up is pirates. Nice appearance. Your PowerPoints had misspellings in them. Only one outline, that was a speaking outline. You're shooting up and in. Again, here we go. Next to the last speech, and you're still doing the same things wrong. You had a good PowerPoint. Stand still when you're talking. Loosen up your facial expression. You're so dour in what you're doing. Don't look so serious. Be a friend when you're talking to us. And work on smoothing out the flow as you move from one point to another. Watch, you have kind of a light tisk. According to the National Children's Hospital, there's a lot of children's hospitals. Which one are you talking about? The National Children's Hospital? Okay. Where is it? Tell me more about it. Talk about what you observed. And then also, you had a good speech with support. Your outlines were lacking. The speech ran very long. And what else do I have here? Be very specific on sources. You cite an article by Michael Haley, Michelle Haley. Who is she, and what is her expertise? You have an expert. You have a citation. You better tell us who they are. All right, next up is Lana, L-A-N-A. You have the wrong shot, too much headroom. You need to slow down just a bit at the start. Watch the sniffles. This kind of stuff when you're doing that. You only have one outline labeled, only 3, not 4 sources, no visuals, only 4 people in the audience. You're short on length, and your eyes wandered while you were talking back and forth when you're doing this. Let me do it without the glasses. Your eyes are kind of going like this when you're talking to me instead of looking at me, and I'm there. That's me right there. I'm the camera. Talk to me. Don't have your eyes doing one of these things when you're talking, because it is, as you can imagine, pretty disturbing. Slow down. No visuals, so I couldn't judge that. Your speech was short. Bibliography works were not cited, and you didn't have the correct number of sources cited. All right. Next up is Faith. Faith, you had a good job on your visuals. You need to move the mic closer to you so you get more of an audio presence when you're speaking. You're reading way too much. You have a good topic, but it's hard to hear and understand some of your points. The audio was a problem. You also had too much headroom. I'm not sure what, but it was a good, you had too much that you were talking about, but it was a good topic and it was well presented. What about your credibility on this topic? I wrote, you got to establish your credibility. You've got to be very clear on your sources when you're doing a speech. and that is faith. And then finally, we've got morale, M-O-R-E-L. You had 5 audience members, short. You're cutting off the top of your head. You have a lot of conversation noise in the background. You're clearly reading your speech. You have no eye contact with the camera. That's me. You need to talk to me when you're talking. When you started, you had a script in your hand. You tried for eye contact when you had the script in your hand. The other times it looked like you were reading off to the side of the camera. You gave facts with no sources, and it's hard to tell where your visuals went. You have to learn to present your visuals better. You were short in the length of your speech, and that's pretty much it. Okay, I also graded the public speakers' critiques after I found them, and I found things like people sent in, if you can believe this, you sent in documents that weren't labeled. You didn't have your name on it. Don't tell me that I could get the name off of the email that you sent, because in some cases you didn't send these to me in an email. You posted them in Blackboard, contrary to what I've told you to do. And contrary to what I've told you to do on this particular assignment, some of you sent me single-spaced critique. And oh, by the way, single-spaced only gives you a little bit more than half a page. If you would have double-spaced it, at least you would have had a page and some. All right, so, you know, we need to have headers on these things. You need to have your name on these. Some of you did a very good job, and it will be reflected on the scores that you got. Basically, some of you got a perfect score on that. Now, let's talk about the special occasion speech. This is to pay tribute to a person, a group of people, an institution, or an idea. This is a commemorative speech. It's one of the most common forms of special occasion speech. Another way is, if you've ever been to a wedding and you've seen the best man toast or a bridesmaid toast, that's a special occasion. A graduation speech is a special occasion. There are even funeral eulogies that are special occasion speeches that are very well done. This needs to be about someone who was alive in your lifetime, someone you've actually met. Not a fictional person, not someone you've never met, someone that's been dead, and no biblical characters. No biblical names, characters, people, etc. It's got to be someone you have met face-to-face, person-to-person, touched, talked to, that kind of stuff. Maximum length, 4 minutes. You need to be anywhere between 3:45 and 4:15. Your script, which you can read from, but please don't put your head down and read it exactly word for word, but your manuscript is what you send me. I don't need speech outlines. I don't need preparation outlines. I need the manuscript of what you've done. All right, the manuscript guidelines are, it should be typed, for your purposes, triple spaced, that makes it easier to read. Do not break sentences on one page and continue them to the other. The manuscript may be written in any form you prefer, but mark your manuscript with notations for eye contact, voice inflection, pronunciation cues, etc. You may use a highlighter if you wish, but you need to send that to me as it is. Also, when people are reading in really speaking in public, often they use a much larger type font, so it's easier to find out where they are. I'm not going to say too much more about that. Visual aids are optional, but it really helps if we have a picture and we can picture who the person is you're talking about, especially if it's one of those nice, kind speeches. It's really nice to be able to see the person you're talking about and feel like we kind of know that person. Sources are not required for the speech, but if you do choose to quote someone or something or cite a fact, then you have to give us the source for all of that. Special occasion speech evaluation form. I need to know, did you gain attention and interest? Was the topic introduced clearly? In other words, the person introduced clearly. Were the main points clear, and did it support the topic? Was descriptive language used? Metaphors and comparisons and things. Conclusion. Did you prepare the audience for the ending? Was it a vivid ending? Delivery. Did you maintain strong eye contact even though you were reading? Did you avoid distracting mannerisms? What about the variety and pace of what you did? Vocal variety and pace. Overall evaluation. Did you meet the manuscript criteria? You heard what the instructions were. I'm going to be looking to see if you met that. Sincerity. If this was a happy, sad, funny kind of special occasion speech, was that kind of emotion used in the speech? And was it used effectively? And was the speech effective overall? Okay, that's what you need to know. We're wrapping up the class. Don't leave any points on the table. When I take a quick look here. In terms of discussion boards, we've got 30 points left out of 160. And the range on these, 74, 119, 127, 118, 17, 121, 5, 130, 128, 124, and 51. That is out of 130 points, so 127 is pretty good. 130, one of the people in the class has got a perfect score on the discussion boards. All right, way to go. Now let's take a quick look over at the speeches. There are 740 points available in all the speeches. There are 50 points left on your special occasion speech. The range of scores: 103, 625, 495, 528, 503, 596, 34, 453, and 504. All right. On the exams, there's one exam left to take, but there are 80 points that have already been taken up. We have 54, 54, 73, 63, 13, 69, 14, 76, 20, 62, and 49. All right. Now, let's take a look at the grades as they stand right now. 100 points are left to get, and of those 100 points, these are the scores by the people in the class. 604, 639, 82, 802, 19, 693, 30, 709, 695, 798, and 231. Some of you, it's hopeless for you to get enough points to score. But part of the reason you don't have enough points is because you didn't do one of the required speeches. If you want to talk to me, my office number is in the syllabus. Give me a call. But you clearly should have been talking to me a long time ago. I've invited you to talk to me every single one of these. Some of you owe me speeches. At least one of you has said that you've posted a speech somewhere. I've been in contact with you. I've called you. I've left messages that I cannot open what you sent. And if I can't open it, it's a 0. You will fail the class. When I contact you, it's imperative that you get back to me and that we get whatever the situation is resolved. If we don't resolve it, then obviously maybe you don't care. Maybe you want to fail the class. Some of you are doing very well, and I hate to use a broad paintbrush when I give these little videos, but the situation is we need to see improvement. All right. Have a great semester and finish strong.